Hello and welcome to Boomer Live. Today we are here to talk about the game between Kolkata Knight Riders and Sunrisers Hyderabad. It was Kane Williams who won the toss and put Kolkata into bat first. Kolkata managed to score a score of 175, all thanks to the late hitting of Andre Russell and Nitish Rana. Sunrisers, it was that one man, Rahul. KKR वालों नाम तो सुना ही होगा. So of course, it was Rahul who came back to haunt them. And on the other end, it was Aiden Markram who played a splendid knock today as well. And Sunrisers Hyderabad chased it on quite comfortably. I'm Nikhil to join me to talk about it, of course. Nikhil, getting to you first up. Talk talk to me about the Rahul Tripathi. I think KKR will definitely, possibly stabbing them for saying that why did we let go of this guy? Because he has been in some splendid touch this IPL, hasn't he been?
Yeah, the moment KKR left Rahul Tripathi, you always knew that this could possibly bite them because he was not used well, moved up and down the order. Ever since his rising Pune Super Giants day, you knew he had to bat in top two or top three. I still think Sunrisers can open with him given the form that is in. They can swap him with Williamson. That could give them a better option. But so refreshing to see him come good this way, taking on the bowlers. He always had great matchups versus Umesh, versus Naren and Varun Chakravarti. He just
Right.
toyed with his bowling, and I think that was great to see. Lots to work for Varun though. He's won quite a few number of games now without having an impact.
Right. Yeah, you are rightly pointed about Varun Chakravarti and Rahul as well. He might have been playing with these lads in the nets for the last couple of years, and it just looked like he was in total control. And talk to me about the spin bowling hitting, right? That middle phase of the game is so crucial in IPL, where you take on the spinners. And when you talk about Narayan and Varun Chakravarti, they've been controlling the middle phase. They've just gone for just over six and over in the middle phase on that 8 overs. And today they made sure that they don't take the control at all, isn't it?
Yeah, and also I think KKR rely a lot on new ball wickets. I think today, once Umesh didn't do that, you knew that they were always going to play catch up. And to control Varun and Narain in the way Rahul did, you have to have great skills versus spin bowling. And Rahul Tripathi showed that he's more than capable of not just seeing them off, but also taking them to the cleaners. I mean, the way he took on Varun, it was almost telegraphed that he will go over covers because that's where he
Right,
loves to play versus spin. But
right,
you didn't see that change happening for Varun in terms of line or length. And I think ever since that 1 over, KKR were always then playing catch up in trying to catch up with Rahul Tripathi, but he just kept going away and away from them. So again, usage of resources. If you see Aman Khan brought in a bowl just 1 over, I think, or 2 overs max, and
right,
you wonder what is the plan. In terms of how are they going to use their bowling resources if they are to play like this, because they dropped Tim Southey, got in
right.
Pat Cummins for his batting, but Tim Southey's wickets are missing. Tim Southey was giving them wickets, so it's a very interesting. And they dropped Sam Billings. I don't know if he's fit or not well, but I
Right.
did, as we discussed, I don't think Finch is the answer to the top order troubles. I would rather open with Naren only if they have to play like this.
Talking about Pat Cummins figures, he has balled 11.5 overs and he's gone for 140 runs by picking up, I guess, 2 wickets. No, 1 wicket. And that's not a good stat at all. If you're a bowler, if you're the world number one test bowler, or whoever you are, you should be just, covering your face right there. And KKR is certainly missing Tim Southey, as you rightly pointed out. Let's talk about KKR's batting right now. We spoke about their top order being vulnerable. Today, they brought in a player like Aaron Finch to cover up that. And KKR were again at the end of 10 over 70 for 4. From there on, it was a Herculean effort by Andre Russell and Nitish Rana to take them to 175. As a KKR captain, you would be pleased that they scored at least 175 because this would have easily been a 140, 130 chase for Sunrisers Hyderabad, isn't it?
And see, that is the quality of Russell, and KKR will be delighted that Rana came good for them. He's a vital player batting in the top three, and they are not getting good starts. Venkatesh Iyer just hasn't even got going off the square, to be very honest. Now,
Hmm.
we talked about the one game where he got runs. He was incredibly lucky to get those stoppages behind the wicket. So it is the start that is troubling them both with bat and ball. And of course, see, the guy like Russell, he's not going to miss out every day. And Rana played himself very, very well. I do feel that that over to Shreyas was very good from Umran.
Yeah.
We've discussed a lot about Umran Malik, and the
Yes.
way Dale Steyn reacted to that wicket, he just told you that it was the plan to
Right.
push him back, to push Shreyas back, and then slip in that Yorker. And Shreyas was trying to move away and play a shot, and that didn't work out well for him. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, lots to
Yeah.
think for Shreyas as well. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about Aaron Finch's move, you mentioned briefly about how Sam Billings has been dropped. Very little surprise that Sam Billings, who had that stability in the middle order, was dropped all of a sudden, and Aaron Finch, who does not have a good IPL record at all, is being considered over here. Because even if you talk about Sheldon Jackson, he's a player in domestic cricket who has done well batting at number one, two, and three, and to push him down at number five is asking too much, asking a bit too much of him, isn't it?
Yeah, again, see, I have always found KKR's team construction a bit on and off in terms of how they go about certain things. You don't have any clue. So you knew that once Finch was back, he was going to get a game. That's why he was picked. So I do think they'll give him 4 to 5 games for sure in a row. That okay, have a go, see what you can do. But the way he started today, left leg in different continent, right leg in the different continent. It almost looked like I'm just here to whack a few around and then I'll probably get into a proper rhythm of sorts. And good bowling will not allow you to do that. And that's what happened with him today. I think Bhuvi was very unlucky in the in the first 2 overs to not get an edge. And Natarajan came in, took two, and then Jansen obviously pushed one across Finch, and he was just gone trying to hack one
Right.
without, I don't know if, even if he saw that ball. So it's just the way they have started. You want to show intent, but the ball has to also be there. Sometimes you have to give yourself an over or two to get going. So I think that is
Right.
something that's missing from KKR top order.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about this man for sure. I'm not going to talk about the cliche, but of course, Umran Malik's that over to Shreyas Iyer. Let's talk about Shreyas Iyer's trouble with the short ball and against quality pace bowling, right? Today you saw fielders behind the square set up for Shreyas Iyer to, just for that shot which he plays, where he backs away and plays that cut shot and that pull which he absolutely doesn't have control of at all. So and today Umran Malik got on top of him. He absolutely double bluffed him, bowling that Yorker straight at the stumps, and Shreyas Iyer looked in shambles out there. Firstly, let's talk about Shreyas Iyer. That that issue which he's been having with the short ball and against quality piece angling into him, and also with Umran Malik. Today he just looked like he's in control of his field. He is control of his line length as well, isn't it?
Yeah, again, and something that we discussed that he'll get better with time. Once he get enough games into it, once he has enough time with Stain and Murli working out plans. So again, I was very sure of Umran getting better and better with time, and that's very good to see. And with Shreyas troubled by the short ball, I think any good bowler will find weakness in any good batter, and it's not just Shreyas. You have even Russell was kept quiet by Umar Malik. And Russell is not just anybody who's just come out or
Yeah.
of the last recent years. So Russell is also a great batter. He was kept quiet for I think, 2 runs in that over that he bowled to him. So it just tells you how much Umran is learning on the go, and he can trouble anybody. There's no shame in getting beaten by a good bowler. So I think Shreyas will also take it as a way that yes, there are areas for him to work on, and hopefully he'll come good with enough practice because I'm sure he can have Pat Cummins bowling to him in the nets, which is not helping him actually. But
Right.
maybe he can face a bit more of Umran out in the middle and get better at that.
Absolutely, definitely about that. Now let's talk about Sunrisers Hyderabad. Last week at the start of the last week, you all would have felt like this team hasn't got off the mark at all. How will they start winning? But now all of a sudden, they're well in there, contending for the top four as well. What do you reckon has been the catalyst for this turnover? Because last week you felt like they were having a lot of holes, especially when it came to their batting. They were not getting off the mark. They're very slow in striking. But today you're talking to them as the bowling unit has turned up pretty well with the likes of Natarajan
Sorry,
coming into the
there's
fold,
just some
the likes
network
of
issue
many
at
other
my end.
players as well.
I'll just
So what do you reckon has been the change?
sorry, I think there's just been some net issue. I'll just join again, sir. Apologies for that. I lost you on that
Yeah,
last question. Just give me.
definitely.
Yes, thank you.
I think as Nikhil joins, let's definitely talk about that big win of Sunrisers Hyderabad, because today was that main day for Sunrisers Hyderabad, because they were going to be tested. They were going to be tested against a quality opposition as well. And yeah, of course, we have Nikhil back again. Uh, yeah, you're back. You're back again in a different mood
Yeah,
now. I think
yeah.
you're back to
Apologies.
mobile.
Yeah, I'm having issues like Kolkata are with their power play. So some issue with
Yes,
the power here. So yeah, talking about yes, I think we were talking about Umran Malik, right?
right.
Yeah.
No, I was
So
talking about Sunrisers Hyderabad first, and also about Umran Malik. Uh, uh, Umran Malik, of course, we did speak about him. Sunrisers Hyderabad, the resurgence of Sunrisers Hyderabad, because last week we did consider this team to be a team who had a lot of issues, especially in the middle order, in their bowling department. But today you're talking to them as if, yeah, they are contending for the top four, because with the likes of Natrajan firing in Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, his figures today wouldn't do justice to the kind of bowling he did today, especially nailing those Yorkers. And Umran Malik is coming good for them. Maybe if Washington Sundar is completely fit again, you are looking at this team as a strong opponent to beat, isn't it?
truly, and I think that is the reason for their renaissance of sorts, because you always knew that they were a bit better shot in terms of how they have constructed their side. But I think the way Bhuvi, Natarajan, Umran have stepped up to the plate, it just gives them that much teeth. And I do feel they might be tested batting first. I think
Yeah,
Kane has been lucky in that sorts that he's got some good chases to be done. So in that sense, it has helped them. So
yeah,
so far they're looking good. I think they got good starts from Abhishek Sharma in two chases. Didn't work out today, but Rahul Tripathi covered up very well. And Makram, I think, is going to play a massive role for them at four. And maybe
right.
that's what could ease the pressure of Williamson. And then if that continues to happen, then you could see SRS turning into a very good unit, because, as you said, once Sundar comes back, then they have a lot of options in terms of using their resources well. And I think that is something that has helped SRH, that when you don't have too many options, you find out the best use of whatever you have. So I think in that regards, they have done very well to use those resources very smartly.
Right. Let's talk about Natarajan now. Yorker Nattu, as he's well known as. How happy are you to see him nail those Yorkers again? Especially today, he had a great start. That ball which he balled to Venki Iyer, it was a beautiful ball, and Venki Iyer was in shambles again. And even if I've talked about the ball which he balled last week to Ruturaj Gaikwad, it was a brilliant ball angling into him and just slide shape in. You reckon now he's also bowling in all three faces pretty well, because before, they used to consider him as a bowler who should come in the middle overs and towards the dead. Now the captain is always confident of handing him the new ball as well, where he's able to shape it in the middle overs and also in the death. Of course, you know how he can nail the York this perfectly, isn't it?
Yes, I think today was the best way to use him in the power play as well, because there was movement on offer. So I think that was a great call from Kane to get in Natarajan, and he struck twice in an over. You
Yeah.
cannot ask for anything more from a bowler who's supposed to bowl three at in the last 10. So I think they have used him how Mumbai would love to use Jasprit Bumrah, but they haven't been able to, because they don't have the support cast for Natarajan. So I think that is also a key thing, that whenever a bowler is doing well, you have to realize there is a setup that is working for them. So for T Natarajan to work, there is a Bowie who is setting it up well. There's an Umran Malik, which is a very quick option in the middle overs, which stops teams from really going after them. So
Right.
in that, you build it up so well that you are trying to see. Even today, they had to bowl the last over to Jagdish Suchit, which
Right.
on any other day could have backfired had they not taken so many wickets. But
Right.
because they had taken enough wickets, they could still gamble. And even though he gave away 15 plus runs in the last over, they still were able to chase it down with overs to spare. So it just tells you that if you can use your resources well, something that we've discussed, using your strike bowlers up top, get those wickets, because everybody at the end has an over or two from their fifth bowler. And if you get enough wickets, then the fifth bowler has that less pressure to deal with. So that way, SRH, I think, are doing a lot of basics right for them.
Right. Let's talk about Kolkata Knight Riders now, because they had a great start to the IPL. Everybody were considering as them as one of the most dangerous teams. They still are. They still have got all the ammunition to go all the way. But somewhere between there, you feel like they're fallen up from the cliff slightly, isn't it? Is it their opening partnership? Is it that their captain hasn't still come into the party? Last knock, which he played against Delhi Capitals, he played brilliantly. Shreyas Iyer. Number one, also Venkatesh Iyer, he's been struggling. What is the way ahead for Kolkata Knight Riders, especially considering the top order conundrum?
See, to be very honest, I'll say Kolkata have always been relying on individual brilliance far more in the recent years. Uh, you, I mean, the game that Pat Cummins won for them was all by himself, and the game previously you saw Russell do well, and then one game Umesh Yadav did well. They're yet to click as a unit. So I
Right.
think that is something that is troubling them because if you see, the top order is not getting runs. Varun is completely out of touch, and when if Umesh doesn't give you wickets, then there is no pressure to take Nare now. So
Right.
that it suddenly makes you feel that okay, where are the wicket taking options? So for them, a lot relies on the power play with both bat and ball, and whenever they've struggled, individual brilliances have got them back in the game, but I don't think they're clicking together as a unit. So I think that is something McCallum will be very worried about because you can't always change the man if you can't change the man. I mean, you got Venki Iyer in and he looked answers to all the questions, but you realize the second seasons are tough. It's hard for Venki to keep up to that rate that which he scored in the first season. So you need an experienced guy to come good. Rane hasn't done that. Finch is
Right.
going to get a few games. So how he starts is going to be massively important because see they have a lot of stroke makers. You get a good start. Somebody a lineup of Rana, Iyer, Naren, Russell, they could really harm you if they get a good start. So that is what they are banking on. It's unfortunate or better planning or lack of planning from Kolkata that they're not able to get that with the bat.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about something off the field where you can win a lot of prizes. Let's talk about the fantasy day out. Nikhil, tell me about it. How did your day go in the fantasy cricket field?
I had a very good day, barring Edel Makram. He is the only guy that I didn't have, purely because I didn't feel that his batting will come. I was very bullish on an SRH win today. More so, given that they were bowling first, I feel batting first teams haven't found it easy, and the kind of resources that SRH have, I felt that KKR would be in trouble, and their biggest threat would always have been Russell. So
Mm.
in that way, I had most of the performers. I had Raj Tripathi, I had Kane. I did go with Govi as my captain because I felt that today could be the day. But it's okay. He was very unlucky, is what I say.
When we talk about having a perfect day in the fantasy cricket field, let's talk about the course which Nikhil is doing with Mad About Sports. Nikhil, I'm handing over to you to talk about it. Tell us about what do you offer it and how can people pick and play and earn a lot by investing very little.
So yes, as you rightly said, the course is all about trying to find ways to ensure things work in your favor. A lot of times we lose games, we win games, but we don't spend enough time realizing why have we won or why have we lost. And when you're winning, it doesn't matter to you much, but when you lose, you tend to overthink. So in the course, I've tried to address a lot of such common problems, misconceptions that yes, it is important to invest smartly, pick the right contest, but it's also important to think about the games. Think about which game you're playing, why are you playing, how confident are you, should you invest more, should you invest less. Think about those questions first, and then you get to the question of okay, how do I make the team, where do I invest, and all of that. So, I think a lot of us can do a lot better in fantasy cricket if we just think about it a lot more in terms of every step that we take, which platform, which games, which series, what kind of
Right.
risk to take. So that is what the course is all about. It's the crux is to stay in profit, have more lemonade days than baby hell days, and whatever
Absolutely.
gets you to there, I think you should follow that process. Whatever works for you, stick to it and learn to earn. Just keep learning every day to get something back.
Absolutely, as Nikhil pointed out, where you can earn a lot by investing a little. But here in Boomer 11, you can pick, play, and win for free. Do not miss out on this chance, this IPL, where you can play for free and win prizes worth up to $5,000. Why would you miss out on that? And talking about how to make a fantasy team and how are we going to help you out, go to our Instagram page, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be coming out with some video content, fantasy predictions day in and day out to help you people to make the perfect fantasy 11 and to win a lot of prizes as well. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel because we'll be doing a lot of giveaways in these coming days. We'll be having Nikhil, Jones, Sandeepani, many more people through the course of this IPL to talk about every match after every game is done. So join us for our post-match analysis every day as well. With having said that, Nikhil, thank you for joining. It was a wonderful time interacting with you and talking about the game. Definitely, it's just a bright, sunny day tomorrow for the Sunrisers fans for sure. Sun is rising very bright, and for the Night Riders, tough night for you lads.
Tough night. Truly, truly tough night.
Good night.
Good night.